Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Um, it's really strange, man, because I've been spending the last hour and a half just kind of just patrolling back and forth and just thinking about some things to myself, trying to straighten some things out in my head going forward. And it's just like anything else, man. When you go through difficult times, or even when it's not that difficult, but when you're just absorbing your stress and you're feeling whatever you're feeling, it's just best to kind of take some time to yourself if you're afforded it, and just recalibrate. And I think I did that, man. I feel a lot better than I did about an hour and a half ago. I really do. And the funny thing is, there's nothing bad going on. It's just for me, my brain. It takes something small, very very minuscule, to put me in a space where I'm thinking about everything that's wrong. You know what I mean? Just sends me down a spiral. That's a natural state of mind for me. It's but at the same time, it's like I've grown a great deal in my ability to kind of manage it. Still got a little ways to go, but I've done a much better job over the last, I'd say, year and a half, 2 years of just kind of getting a little time to myself, and just like I did today, just kind of hashing everything out internally, and making sure that I don't continue to harp on those things. And that's the beauty of practicing such things. It's like you get that little meditation time consistently. When you start feeling bad, you start training yourself to not go down the dark paths of your own mind, those dark places that you would normally go to. You can kind of, over time, um, start to build up a sense of resistance to that depression, or whatever it may be labeled as, inside of yourself. That's how I deal with it. I'm afforded time. That's a key to it all. You got to have some good fortune too. Not everybody gets that time away. Not everybody has that time alone. And I appreciate it. And I'm also open to hearing what other people do who don't have those type of times available to them. How do they cope? I'm curious to know how you guys do it. Um, so yeah, man, it's just me living my life, man. I am fortunate enough to not be numb right now. I've spent time in my lives where it felt like nothing was going on. Um, it just felt like one continuous loop of mediocrity or boredom. Um, just working a job. Everything was just everything. That's not what this is. I got real stuff going on, getting hit with a bunch of stuff at once. All that can be fixed with money, to be honest with you. I'm not going to even lie to you guys. Most of my problems are not um, real foundational issues at this point. They're not. They're just bag issues. You give me a bag of money, hey, everything's fine again. So I don't want to overstate my issues, but when you internalize your stresses, and you carry your stresses, they can be very harmful, as you all, I'm sure, know. I read something in a meme today that I want to share. It said something along the lines of, "Don't carry your stress on your body. Relax your shoulders, unclench your jaws, that kind of thing. Straighten out your posture. Like, just don't carry your strength. Unscrunch your head here, whatever they call that is. Unscrunch that. Just relax a little bit and just breathe. And those are the type of things that I need on days like this, when you just feel the weight of your stresses on your shoulders. And I'm at a space in my life where I'm ready for things to get better. I went through a long period of time where I didn't care if things got better. I just wanted them, just wanted things to stop, more or less, at one point. But that's not where I'm at. This is not I'm quitting, I'm depressed, I'm down. No, I'm just in a space where it feels like I'm going against the grain. You know what I mean? I'm pressing toward a certain destination, and it feels like there's a lot pressing against me, trying to keep me from getting there. And I think it's fruitful, because the only thing resistance will ever do, both in exercise and in life, is make you stronger. But at the same time, when you're in it, it's kind of hard to just be fine, or to be happy, or whatever. But hard is not impossible. You got to find what it is that makes you happy, and you got to try to spend as much time doing that as you can when you feel like I do. Now, unfortunately, right now, I can't really do what I love to do, because if I could, I would probably be making a playlist right now of some sort. Um, and I just can't do that right now. But getting on here and expressing myself verbally is another passion of mine, as you guys I'm sure can probably figure out by as much as I do it. And it helps. So this is what this is. I'm babbling along, and I'm hopeful that you guys can see the transparency in what I got going on. A lot of times I talk basketball. Sometimes I talk about the issues that I see in this world as it pertains to being racially motivated, or rather trying to wrap my head around what goes on in this, just in the wide world, like the rest of us. That takes me to a place where I want to just acknowledge something that took place today in Boulder, Colorado. 10 people lost their lives in a shooting in a supermarket. Another person just walked in there and did that. And it's just like, these are the type of things that give you perspective. When you sit up and think about, okay, I got this going on, that going on, I'm frustrated about this, that's hitting me from that. It's like, okay, let's get some perspective here. I was not involved in that supermarket situation. I did not have this or that take place. I'm not going to put any words out there for negative things, but you understand where I'm going with this. Things are not that bad. And even though they can be better, they can always be worse. And that perspective should give us some balance. That's to at least have a pretty optimistic outlook at where things are headed. And to be completely honest with you, even in the midst of all that has happened today or these last 2 days, I have a lot to be thankful for. Some things kind of worked out in my favor to make things not as bad as they appeared to be. So even though I come to you with this long phase, do understand that this is a lot better than I was feeling earlier in the day, because quite honestly, things hadn't happened that were favorable. So just got to work through it. I guess that's what I'm sharing with you guys. For me, prayer, meditation. For you, it may be something else. But I do want to encourage you all to be sensitive of your own mindset. Be sensitive of that child inside, as people like to say. Be sensitive of the fact that there are things to overcome that maybe you're not necessarily aware needs to be addressed within yourself. Things that you think you've overcome, but you still have that trigger in you. If the wrong thing occurs or you see that wrong thing, it's going to take you down that path. So I just want to encourage everybody to deal with their stuff if they can. Seek help with dealing with things if it's available to you. Believe in a higher power if you dare, that kind of thing. Give yourself an opportunity to be okay. And I think that's what we all need to choose at some point. Things are going to always occur. There's going to be bad things and good things to deal with. But I think at the end of the day, you have to make a decision to want to be okay, to want to be happy, and then you, from there, manifest that happiness in whatever ways are available to you. For some of us, we believe talking things into existence work. I know a great deal of us believe that there are power in words. So maybe your approach should change, starting with what comes out of your mouth, or what thoughts you choose to think. Instead of harping on the negative stuff or reading the comments that are negative and internalizing those, how about spending a bit more time training yourself to, because it's something that we need to train ourselves to do, but training ourselves to kind of focus on the positive things. When we're sitting up beating ourselves up for stuff that maybe we shouldn't have did, try to think back on a time where and maybe it won't be hard for you to do it all, but look back on a time when you were proud of yourself or you did something you were proud of. And if you can't find anything at all in your Rolodex of thoughts that you're proud of, then it's time to set out on a path to do something that would make you proud, because that's where you're going to draw that strength and pride from. It's those works that are ultimately something that you're proud of. So in my opinion, when I'm at my lowest point, or if I'm depressed about something, or if I'm at a space where I don't feel like I want to deal with anybody, I think the thing to seek out is to be a blessing to someone else. You want to give someone else an opportunity to be thankful for you. You want to give other people an opportunity to look at you and say, that person was helpful and useful to me, because that's the type of esteem that people can hand you. Just like someone could say something to you that can get to you, A simple thank you can remind you of how useful you are, of how valuable your life can be, about how much good and production you can provide by being patient and dealing with what you got to deal with, seeing through this day and living to see tomorrow, not giving up. You need someone to remind you that you are needed. And you're not going to find that by having your hand out. You're going to find that by giving someone else a hand. The cure to depression is goodwill and good deeds. And I know it's not a cure all, but it is a start to the path of turning around your mindset and believing in yourself to say, hey, I'm not my sins. I am not my mistakes. I'm not my embarrassing moments. I'm not all of that negative stuff. Find that balance because it's there. It's available. That balance is there. Either you have it in your past or you have it in your ability to do something from this point on. But that's what you are going to find will help you through the battle that you may have in your mind. A lot of times we spend our time looking for things to come our way. I've heard many people in many different ways say, I'm not going to be a good person because I haven't seen enough people be good toward me. And I think that is a natural occurrence, being that we're raised to be fed and taken care of and have our diapers changed and to be brought to school and all this stuff that comes natural to most of us who are fortunate enough to have those circumstances. And we become takers in life. We don't see the fruit in being givers unless it benefits what we're used to taking. And I think the realization that a lot of people need to come to in that regard is the way the universe appears to work from where I'm sitting. It's not about you taking everything back and indulging in, as I like to say, basking in the sun while everything's perfect for you while everyone else is around you is suffering. You've missed your calling if you're able to find peace in that space for too long. If others are suffering and you have an opportunity to help them, maybe you are depressed or sad or harping on negativity because you have chosen not to be a blessing to others when it was time to be. Or maybe you gave that energy to the wrong people and now you don't have it for people that need it from you. Now you don't have the cares or the F's to give, so to speak, that maybe are the ones you should have been giving to the people in front of you rather than you've given it to the wrong people and they've taken advantage of it and now snuffed it out of your spirit. You got to find a way to recalibrate who you're trying to be, accepting the fact that there are more than one ways to get what it is that you want, which is a happiness, and then be willing to give as a means of doing so. Chess, not checkers type deal, you know? The conventional way of wanting to get something is asking for it or taking it. But rarely do we look to earn what it is that we want in some cases, or even more so, sacrificing and forego having it even though we want it for the betterment of someone else or the betterment of a circumstance that we come together to be a part of or what have you. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to take, all you're really going to find is a lack of satisfaction, because you're never going to have enough. You're going to be weakened by the idea that everything's supposed to come your way. You're not going to be strong enough to go get it yourself. And most importantly, your esteem is going to be low because of that. So that's the formula for a lot of depression. I think people don't realize they're looking to be takers all the time. They're not looking to do a good deed at all unless it's beneficial to them. And then they wonder why things don't have no fruit to them. And you say stuff like what goes around comes around to them, and they're like, oh, that's cliche, I don't buy that. But it's available as wisdom for you for a reason, so that you understand the formula for what it is that you need and want. You give to get. You sacrifice to receive. If you want to deserve something great, then you have to do something good. That's deserving. It doesn't mean you're going to get what you deserve, but the art and the space of deserving such things. The universe will respect that. It may not come in the time that you want it to come. It may not even come in the form that you want it to come, but it will arrive and it will be on time. And you need it most. I've seen it. You just got to be willing to give, even when it doesn't feel good to do so. It's, in fact, maybe especially when it doesn't feel good to do so. You know, those are the type of things that help us believe in ourselves. You know, we find ourselves in competition with other people a lot of times. We're trying to live up to other people's standards, fall into depression because we want to live up to their thoughts of who we are or live up to whatever. Nope. Wrong approach. It's complete opposite. You should be living to make your higher power happy if you believe in such a thing. And if you don't believe in such a thing, I believe that you should be striving to be the good in the world that you ultimately want to see in others. You know, it's like if I don't have any good in my heart and I go outside and I don't see any good, where's the good? Now that doesn't mean that the good doesn't exist, but am I anywhere near it? Am I welcoming it? Am I even manifesting it at all? No, there's no good here. So you find yourself the opposite of that: unhappy, bad, etc., evil. But if I go outside and I've already told myself before I left the house, I'm going to stand on what I believe in. I'm going to be a decent human being. I'm going to be self-aware, try to be my best version of myself with dignity and respect and all that good stuff. If I make that decision before I leave the house and I carry that with me, it don't matter what everybody's doing. I can run into 10 rude people, and yes, I'll be affected by those rude people to some degree, especially if it's that many of them in a row. But by the time I get to that 11th person who has nothing but good energy to feed off of, if I would have already manifested before I ran into them 10 people, the type of, or declared the type of person I want to be today, the type of blessing I want to be toward others, the type of energy that I want to put out in my actions, in my tone, etc. If I've already made up my mind of what that's about and have committed to that before leaving the house, it don't really matter what them 10 people about to do. I'm going to have the same energy regardless, because my mind is made up, my heart's made up, and my spirit is made up that I'm going to put out good energy. And when that 11th person gets here, I'm going to have the right energy to match their energy, because the energy of the 10 people that came before me couldn't even overrun the good energy that I had in my heart prior to leaving the house. And that's the type of practice that we need in many different ways and areas of our lives as it pertains to training our brains to think positively and act positively, because there's too much negativity, too much tragedy, too many systems in place that are meant to remove fairness from the equation. There's too much working against us for us not to have our own self-manifested energy. Do you understand what I'm saying by that? Self-manifested. And that comes from the repeated practice of fighting against one's own negative thoughts on your own time if you're afforded such. So that's what I wanted to say, man. A lot of us, we fall victims to strange occurrences, whether it be a tragedy that sends us over the edge, or we get to a point where the stresses of our lives make us snap. And though I'm not the type of person that can say I understand the brain, I haven't studied the brain to that degree, blah, blah, blah. What I can say is, having had one that I've had to work with and against my entire life, the one thing that's really, really consistent is the repetition. You know, the repetition of being either positive or negative, and that carrying forward outside of my home. If I'm negative as heck in my own space, when I'm alone, chances are that negativity is going to carry me outside my house, regardless of what type of personality that I have. Because naturally, I have a nice personality. Maybe naturally you don't. But the energy that you carry, your aura about you, will bleed through your personality. Even if you're a jerk to a degree, your actions will speak louder. People will appreciate who you are as it pertains to your personality traits, and they'll look past that and see the actions in the art of your heart. So I just speak that way because I understand that it doesn't come overnight. You're not going to find that after one prayer or one meditation practice. You need to do this as consistently as you brush your teeth, shower, go to work, put gas in your car. Like, repeated chanting of, this is what I'm about. I want wisdom. I want self-respect. I want self-control. I want happiness, joy, kindness. All of those things are worked into my everyday prayers, so that when I leave the house, I have the most that I can get out of myself in regards to preparing myself for whatever's outside. And I think that can be a defense against certain types of mental snapping or losing yourself or completely giving up and all that, because you don't naturally turn to the negative aspects of things when you start that process of exercising mentally and spiritually that way. You know, it's just like any other exercise that you do with any muscle. Your brain is a muscle. You strengthen it, you grow that resistance, and then you grow more of a strength of mind to practice. You know, it gets easier to get your butt up and go to the gym after 7 months of doing so rather than the first 7 days. That's what I'm saying. Same goes for meditation. Same goes for positive thinking. Same goes for preparing yourself energy-wise and mentally for whatever is out there. So I just want to send that with you guys. I feel better now. 20 minutes talking, I feel a lot better. I hope that somebody's helped about what I've said here. Things are always going to occur. Tragedies are always going to happen. People are always going to be the way they are, etc., etc. Be the good you want to see in the world. Practice what that looks like in your head by way of your mouth. Speak it into existence if you have it in you to do so, and I think it will help you. Give it a shot. My name is BDF44. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.